Who wants to pay $30 to watch the live-action remake of Mulan? No, seriously, I'm asking, because I'm pretty confused about this too, and it seems like Disney is as well. Honestly, I'm fairly sure they're just making it up as they go along. So here's the real news. Disney announced this week that they're going to be offering Mulan as a premium offering on top of Disney Plus on September 4th for an additional $30. And yes, that means you'll be paying that $30 on top of the $7 monthly Disney Plus fee or the $70 annual fee. It's like a premium add-on. Think of it like maybe the way DLC works on a video game. Now, on the face of it, the news seems pretty baffling just because Disney has never mentioned the possibility of offering something like this, you know, an extra purchase on top of Disney Plus. We always just thought of it as a subscription service, you know, like Netflix. And Disney honestly really stoked that confusion too. It took them 12 hours to confirm with us whether it would be a digital rental or an actual purchase, you know, like something you'd buy on iTunes. Now here's where things get a little weird. A spokesperson told us that you'll be able to rewatch Mulan once you purchase it, as long as you're a Disney Plus subscriber. That's great news if you were hoping to rewatch it, but it's honestly a really strange way to handle a purchase. You don't have to subscribe to a subscription to rewatch your iTunes or Vudu purchases, right? I'm really not sure how Disney could even justify this limitation. It just seems very anti-consumer in many ways. One thing they could end up doing is syncing things up with Movies Anywhere so that, you know, once you purchase it on Disney Plus, it'll actually be available on the Movies Anywhere app and any of those other partner services, so like iTunes and Vudu as well. There's been no suggestion that's actually going to be happening, and honestly, that's one of the things that makes me think this is just Disney taking a gamble, taking a huge risk to see if people would even buy something on top of Disney Plus. During Disney's earnings call, CEO Bob Chapek said that they're really just treating this as a one-off event. It's not going to be a whole new strategy for them for upcoming releases. But of course, they also said they'll be looking closely at how consumers are responding to this. So if Mulan ends up leading a lot of people to subscribe to Disney Plus or actually ends up getting a ton of purchases, I would imagine Disney would start to really think about doing this for more films. It makes sense because Disney needs to make up for having theaters closed so people can't actually go see their movies, and there's very limited access to their parks right now. Even in California, when they wanted to open some, there had to be some delays because of issues around the COVID-19 epidemic. Disney's overall revenue basically cratered during the last quarter, which really explains why they're working so hard to try different revenue streams. Now, I can understand why people might be turned off by the idea of spending an extra $30, especially when Mulan will probably end up on Disney Plus on their normal roundup of movies in just a couple months. $30 is twice the price of the average movie ticket in most cities, and it's unclear if you'll be getting special features or any other sort of extras by paying this money. For parents, I think Disney's gamble is a really intriguing one because a trip to the movie theater used to involve spending money to get to the movie theater, you know, and you had to pay for tickets. That's not including snacks and just the general headache of dealing with kids in a public space. $30 to watch a movie at home with all your kids and maybe close friends who are in your COVID bubble, that's not a bad deal. We've seen other movie studios experiment with video-on-demand options for new releases, like with The Invisible Man, but those are usually $20 rentals. $30, a little more to actually own a movie, or own it as much as you can digitally, to me that seems worth it. Part of the problem for Disney is that it's kind of been undercutting itself with the value that Disney Plus provides. They've really banked on putting in all of their franchises, all their biggest hits, and most of their library into the service to make it a high-value thing at a fairly low cost. And then once people started getting locked in at home, Disney started doing things like releasing Rise of the Skywalker early, much earlier than they said it was going to be on the service. And they give us Hamilton, you know, a very popular musical that was released a year and a half before it was even supposed to hit theaters. So to me, that's a lot of value in the service. And both of those movies came at no extra cost. You know, as somebody who has spent years collecting VHS tapes and scrounging for DVDs, having new movies like that just drop into my lap in the service, that seems pretty great. And as much as I'm looking forward to Mulan, it probably isn't going to have the amount of cultural impact as Hamilton did. So is it really worth an extra $30? Let me tell you what's really baffling to me. It's almost like Disney doesn't want to put this offer in print anywhere. At the time of this video, as I'm recording it, there's no tweet, There's no press release. There's no written announcement that Disney is actually doing this Mulan release on Disney Plus. All we have to go on is Bob Chapek's statements during the earnings call. And yes, Disney's PR also confirmed that it would be a purchase, several hours after that call. But even what they told us was on background, which means we can't quote that spokesperson. It's kind of strange to me how they're just being very standoffish about this whole offer. It's like if it doesn't work out, they can just pretend it never happened. And honestly, it feels really strange coming from Disney, a company that's known for being very strict and controlling about its corporate image. Here's the thing. I think it's smart for Disney and other movie studios to explore new ways to deliver, movies while we're at home. Until we have a COVID-19 vaccine and it's widely available and people actually start taking it, we're not going to be rushing to theaters anytime soon. I'm just hoping Disney has a more solid plan than it seems on the surface, especially when it comes to tying a digital purchase to Disney Plus, which could have far-reaching ramifications. If Disney bungles this release, it could seriously hurt other attempts to bring theatrical releases into the home, and that's not going to be good for anybody. It's not going to be great for studios, it's not going to be good for consumers. Stay tuned to Engadget.com as we explore how Mulan is going to be ending up in Disney Plus, and we're definitely going to be covering how video-on-demand services are helping consumers deal with the fact that we can't go to theaters anymore. If you dug this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks.